What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SP and Bushy Show. We are back live with you. Maybe not live since we don't usually film this live, but in any event, Bushy, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, my man. It's interesting time right now. I mean, I think we got a little Olympics hangover a little bit. Really, it's just kind of baseball right now. But I mean, preseason football starting. I mean, I guess it's a great time to. It's time, man. Football season is upon us. I mean, in probably like 3 weeks, man, we're gonna have college football.
Yeah, obviously it's exciting with football coming up. Baseball is in great times right now. Obviously, after last night's Field of Dreams game, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Dinger controversy. We're going to break down our fictional starting lineups, worst person at each position. And obviously, lots going on in the sports world to talk about. So let's talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Well, we'll start it off last night. Obviously, it's a huge game in Major League Baseball, the Field of Dreams game between the White Sox and the Yankees. It lived up to the hype, got like the highest rating of any regular season game, and who knows how long. It was a fantastic game, and it was awesome to see.
It was. I actually watched the majority of the game. Actually, there were times I kind of flipped back and forth. The preseason football. They had the Patriots Redskins game on NFL Network, so I was just like, I don't really want to. I didn't really want to hear him talk about Mac Jones that much. Like really, we had the Patriots broadcast, so I didn't really want to hear him like talk about
So you were
Mac Jones a
switching to
lot.
preseason football instead of watching an amazing baseball game?
To be honest, I mean I flip during commercials, but I
Okay.
flip right back. Again, like I said, I watched the majority of the game. It was an exciting, fun game. I mean, the ninth inning alone probably was worth the price of admission. Really, I mean for that thing and a lot of home runs. No, Coors Field is no longer the bandbox. It's the cornfield in Iowa. That's what it is.
It was, man. That ball was flying into the corn. A lot of opposite field shots. I mean, that porch in right field must have been really short because you had Judge going deep to right. You had you had the White Sox catcher going deep to right. A lot of opposite field home runs there.
Yeah, it seemed like they probably enjoyed the hitter's eye a little bit as well because there were a lot of hit balls, and I don't know, maybe it could have been the aesthetics of the place, but you could really hear the crack of the bat a lot during this time as well. It was nice to hear. I mean, especially for that Judge homer, man. I mean, it was a loud crack for that one.
That one and the Stanton home run, they were both really loud cracks for sure.
Yeah, they were very, very loud cracks, and I mean, and it's crazy too. We basically had the storybook ending with that as well, with Tim Anderson hitting a walk-off home run. Really, I mean, they kind of lucked out too because I think a lot of people are really going to forget because I mean, it literally, like if a ball from the previous batter really kind of stays probably either 2 feet to the right, it's a fair ball and that guy's out and it's a 2-out game. And Tim Anderson maybe puts it into extra innings rather than hitting it in a walk-off.
Which I'm so grateful that game didn't end up in extra innings. Then, like, you have this game that's solely dedicated to the purity of baseball, going back to the 1900s, and then to have it go into these new, which I don't really like, the cockamamie extra innings rules of already having a runner on second base. So I'm so glad that Tim Anderson ended it and put it away with the walk-off shot. Like you said, the ninth inning alone was worth the price of admission. You have 2 home runs by the Yankees to rally from 3 runs down to take the lead against Hendricks, and then for the White Sox to close it out in walk-off fashion. Just an incredible game. And like I said, it's something that was just this monumental moment for Major League Baseball, it felt like.
Oh, and it was great too, and it actually made me want to watch Field of Dreams. I actually watched it today as well, and it was just great to see as well. And I love the uniforms as well, man. Just some great old school uniforms, especially with like the Yankees, the old New York ones, from like these Ruth era ones as well. And the same goes for the White Sox. I mean, those jerseys are so nice. They're a lot better than those City Connect jerseys that the White Sox brought out this year. They should have just brought that back rather than the South Side jerseys that they had.
Yeah, I thought those were incredible jerseys. I thought it was incredible the way that at the beginning of the game they had him walk out of the cornfield that was just an amazing moment too.
Yeah, and it was a nice nod too, and it just it couldn't have gone any better for MLB last night. I mean, it could have been a disaster, but no, it was a perfect night for baseball.
It certainly was. Although earlier today I was debating someone on Facebook about Joe Buck broadcasting the game. What are your thoughts on Joe Buck? I mean, I'm not a Joe Buck guy. Are you a Joe Buck guy?
He has gotten a lot better. I really was not a big Joe Buck fan back in the day, but he has gotten a little bit better. I feel like the problem with him is that he was just always kind of tone deaf, and like really just stayed the same. He was very, very monotone
Mhm.
as well. But I feel like he's kind of learned it the past few years of really kind of get excited for this moment. I mean, he did sound really excited last night as well. And it seems like too with like football games, he's starting to get like really excited for like great plays and all that, instead of like, oh, look at that, another, touchdown, Elliott, Cowboys lead or something like that type of thing. I feel like he's starting to get a little more excited as well. Would like to see him maybe a little more excited, but
Right.
you know,
I think he's very plain, but in any event, I think that for a situation like this, if you could have really ran it back and gotten like a classic voice like Vince Scully, pulled him out of retirement for one night and given me one night of Vince Scully at this, that would have been just the topper.
no, you know what I want? I want the Naked Gun. Just this row of people. I want. Give me Gowdy. Resurrect. Find something. Resurrect Kurt Gowdy. Give me Jim Palmer. I want Dr. Joyce Brothers on that broadcast. That's what I want.
In any event, like I said, I
I
think
mean, give me Dick
Scully was on
Vitale.
that panel too.
Give me Dick Vitale. He doesn't.
Yeah. Home run, baby!
Oh, Timmy Anderson, baby. He wins it for. He wins it. Who wins? The people of Iowa, baby.
Outsiders. In any event, man, like I said, it was a great night for Major League Baseball. It's great to see them doing that. And I would love to see maybe next year. I mean, they've talked already about coming back, doing another Field of Dreams game. I want to see them on a sandlot in Utah. Give me a sandlot game.
Yeah, I kind of want it too, but I know the players would complain because it would be like a Sandlot type of thing. Really, I mean, I want the reality. I want the reality for that as well, and give me a crappy field. And I know the Players Association would not want that, but I want like a nice like dirt field or something like that with like patches of grass here or there and stuff. I know the Players Association won't go for it, but give me that. Yeah, and it's just I want a dog. I want a dog to the right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, if you hit it,
With
yeah,
the home
just
run,
a mechanic dog comes out, gets the ball.
yeah, that'd be great. You have to hop the fence to go get the ball back if you hit the homer.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, trust me, we would see a lot of singles and doubles if that happened.
I would love to see it because I mean that's like the most pure part of baseball. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was like practicing the game as a kid, like I was practicing it in my backyard and hitting it into my neighbor's yard. That was the goal. That's the dream. So
Oh, the amount of times
getting it back.
I agree. The amount of times I've hit wiffle balls, baseballs in neighbors' yards while we were playing baseball as kids. Oh, yeah. And the amount of times we've had to climb over and get it. Thankfully, back in the day, I had really good neighbors who were like really cool. Like they were fine with it. So, and there were times too where we actually hit it over the house and we would actually have to walk around. And that's really not a small walk for us.
Oh, I'm sure not. That's it. I mean, that was awesome last night for MLB. Like you said, it couldn't have been scripted any better. It was great to see. I loved it.
Oh yeah, I loved it as well. I would love to have it again. I'd be in favor. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would love a backyard baseball theme night or something like that as well. Like it really hit into like the nostalgia for people with that. Yeah, I love it. I love like these specialty nights that they have, with like the Little League night. I love the Field of Dreams one worked perfectly. And yeah, I would be in favor of another Field of Dreams game as well.
Definitely would. It was fantastic. Give me more of it. Give me more of this gimmicky stuff. I want to see games played anywhere like you can get them for a different kind of effect.
Yeah, it really will. It made a different kind of effect, and it probably intrigued a lot of people who wouldn't watch a baseball game. It really, I mean, and it probably showed too. I'm like, oh wow, the White Sox are pretty good. Same with the Yankees. Yankees are pretty good as
Oh,
well. So maybe it kind of shows, maybe this is a good growth to the game as well.
absolutely. And I think these are two teams that we could see meet further down the line.
Yes, we could see that as well. I'd be all interested from it. It isn't over yet as far as with the wild card and with the East.
Definitely not.
Central, pretty much, yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably over, really, except for a White Sox collapse.
Hey, like I said, I would love to see the White Sox there. To me, they're an interesting team to watch. I want to see them there. I want to see them as the one seed, waiting for whoever comes out of the East or the West, or even that wild card spot.
Yeah, as the standings right now, they would be the third seed, so they would be facing Houston, which actually would be a really good matchup. I actually would like to see that Houston against the White Sox as well, and then yeah. So if the season ended today, yeah, and have Tampa Bay go up against either Oakland or Boston, so we probably could have maybe like a small market, big market type of thing as well.
Absolutely, I want to see it. I mean, I think right now, like you said, the standings. But I mean, the teams in the AL East, they're going to beat each other up. I think the teams in the West, they're going to beat each other up because the good teams are still going to be playing each other. The White Sox are not going to have that problem. They still have a lot of games left against the Twins and the Tigers and the Indians, and I think they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, they are going to be in good shape right now. I mean, Cleveland is still kind of in the wild card spot, but they're 9 back, and I don't think really. I mean, it's going
They're
to take a
playing with
lot of teams to
Detroit.
collapse and for them to get hot as well. And with the news of Francona kind of stepping down as well. Oh, sorry, we shouldn't say the Indians, right? We should
Yeah,
say the
Guardians.
Guardians. Sorry. I'm sorry about that, but really, the
I
thing
said
that's
it
coming
first.
off I guess the most telling thing too is coming off the second half so far. The second half of the season really has been really the who's kind of slumping really has been the Boston Red Sox. I mean, really, they look like a team really at the All-Star break. You thought, oh, this team is going to be on the top, probably competing for the East, and really, I mean, they've really struggled offensively the past few weeks. So it's just a very, very interesting time for Boston right now. I mean, it's crazy to think about it. 3 weeks ago, where they were like, "Oh yeah, they were in the top," and now they're kind of slumping a little bit. I mean, and 5 back from the race.
Yeah, they've really gone downhill. I think we kind of predicted it at the beginning of the season. The Red Sox didn't have the pitching to kind of keep up either. And I think they're kind of hitting that stall now. I mean, obviously, I think that they could rebound from this. But the problem is they also have the Yankees and the Blue Jays in that division too, where we're both getting hot. They both made, I think, better deadline deals than the Red Sox did and could easily leapfrog them because the Yankees in Toronto are both very good teams.
Yes, they're both very good teams, and it's going to be a really interesting, probably next month and a half as far as how the East is going to play out. Is Tampa Bay going to keep holding on, or are they going to kind of fall back a little bit so that maybe you may see the Yankees or the Blue Jays or even the Red Sox make a jump as well? They could get a hot streak as well, and same goes for the West. I mean, Houston is playing really good ball right now. Same with Oakland as well, and yeah, just having Houston and Oakland maybe battling out for the West.
Don't count the Mariners out yet.
No, I'm not counting out the Mariners. I mean, they're 8 back. Really, they made some questionable deadline deals as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, I mean, I think it's just like a 2-team race right now between Houston and Oakland.
But the Mariners are still very alive in that wild card race. They could get hot.
Yes, they could get hot. They could get hot at the right time as well. But you are competing with either Oakland or Houston, and then maybe and then the 3-team race of the Red Sox, Yankees, Toronto, or in Tampa Bay. Sorry, a 4-team race as well. So
I think Tampa Bay's pretty much sewn up a spot, or at least looks like they're going to be one of the teams in this thing.
yeah, they look like they're going to be one of the teams. But heck, you never know. I mean, Tampa Bay could have like a fall off as well as
They could.
we could see it. Yeah, we could be talking 2 weeks from now, and be like, what happened to the Rays?
We certainly could. We could be talking about a Mariners hot streak. Who knows what we could be talking about in 2 weeks? It's been amazing these last few weeks of baseball. And even the Yankees, like it looked like we were going to be talking about Aaron Boone getting fired, and it seems like they've kind of rectified everything, and they're ready to get back in the race as well.
Yes, pitching staff is a little bit in question as what right now.
Yeah.
I think as far as like questions with like any pitching staff, really you got to look at the Yankees as well. I mean, I don't think they really have like a ton of like quality starts and all that, and they really have used up the bullpen a lot to go with it as well. So, and you saw it too. I mean, they couldn't have Chapman going on the ninth. They brought in somebody else. And yeah, I mean, it's just and it's just and the guy who started too for that game, I mean, he was giving up homers left and right.
Well, I was surprised when they went out and got him at the trade deadline, because he was the big pitching arm that they went out and got at the deadline, and he had an ERA over 5 with the Angels, and I don't get why you would go get him and then expect him to suddenly turn into CC Sabathia or any of these big level deals that the Yankees have made in the past at the deadline.
No, really they try to get more bats as well. They actually do have like but I think about it as well. It's just like, yeah, with the trade deadline as well, they have like decent deals or something like that. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
On paper, though, that with the additions they made of Rizzo and Gallo, on paper, that is an insane lineup. You got DJ LeMahieu leading it off, and then you got Gardner. But then you got, I mean, even last night, Judge, Gallo, Stanton. I mean, that's a very good 3-batter set there in its own right. And then you add in Rizzo, who's on the COVID list, so obviously he'll be back. But, I mean, that is a very dangerous lineup.
Yeah, it is a very dangerous lineup. But again, I think we talked about it at a trade deadline special. It's a good team on paper. I mean, and sometimes on paper it does not produce on the field.
No, definitely doesn't. Now I want to go back to the Mariners really quickly, Bushy. Jerry DiPoto, the GM, like you mentioned, making some questionable moves. He's been a questionable GM in the past. We watched him play here in Colorado. Let me ask you this. Do you have more confidence in Jerry DiPoto as a pitcher or Jerry DiPoto, the GM?
Definitely as a pitcher. He really and he was the GM too of the Angels. I think people really forget about that as well. I mean, it's just he made some questionable signings as well. Yeah, so it's an interesting type of thing right now, and it's just I feel like it really, I mean, it's really kind of questionable when you kind of trade like your closer to a rival in Houston as well. I mean, it's not like you shipped him off to like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Rays or something like that. You ship him off to a division rival who you're actually competing with in the division right now, and you're like in a division race, and you're not back. You're not back. Like you're like 40 or 75 or something like that. And you're clearly out of it. No, like you were in the hunt. Like everybody was talking about like how hot the Mariners were right after the All-Star break.
No, for me, it was a dumb move. For me, I would never, under any circumstances, trade a player to someone in my division. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care what sport. Unless I knew that player was garbage, and then I would be like unloading him to a team I'd see a bunch of times a year, then maybe I'd do it. But Graveman was pitching great. I don't get why on earth they made that deal.
I don't either. I mean, it is just a questionable decision, and the Mariners have had histories of questionable decisions where you're just scratching your head and be like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? You had no need to do this. Why did you do this?
And then they went out and got your boy Tyler Anderson.
Yes. Again, another questionable decision. Yeah. It was
He's definitely not
enough said. Yeah, all you had to do is just say the name. Enough said.
He's definitely not your boy, but he's not our boy yet either.
No.
He's not with the Rockies anymore. You can talk about him, right? Freely?
Not really.
You can't? No, man.
Yeah. Tyler Anderson, enough said. Really. Okay. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Go look up at the stats. Proof's in the pudding with him.
Absolutely. He certainly is. I don't get why you're going out and even with the Yankees, I don't get why you're going out and getting pitchers with ERAs over 5 and expecting them to come in and start for your team.
Because he has a great WAR against right-handed pitchers on a Tuesday. That's what.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of these, one of these things with like analytics sometimes. Like it's just like I feel like it's like the stats from Little Big League. Like it's just like, oh, this guy's hitting 485 on a Tuesday mid-September, so we got that going for him.
Exactly. End of the season, he's the man.
Yes, exactly.
In any event, man, that was obviously, we didn't really talk about the Mariners much at our trade deadline special, so we wanted to work that in. One thing
Yeah.
I want to say too, you talked about collapses. Let's talk about the Mets. They are swan diving in the NL East.
Yes, they are swan diving right now, and Philly has kind of creeped up and kind of taken over the reins right now. I mean, the Mets are still half a game back, so they're still in it. Same with Atlanta. Atlanta, I mean, they've been really the surprise team right now. You thought they would take a nosedive after the Acuna injury. No, they've been really resilient right now, and they're only a game back of this division as well. And I think a lot of it too has to be a little bit of luck, because really the East is not a very good division.
Right.
I gotta praise for that, because I didn't think the East would be that good of a division this year. Back at our kind of like fan grab special as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's gonna be a nice 3-team race. I'm very excited for the next kind of 3-team race as well, for the end of this season, for the next month and a half. I mean, it's going to be probably good games between the Phillies, the Mets, and Atlanta.
Absolutely. I agree. I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, you got those three teams competing against each other. There's a lot of rivalry history there. And I think the Braves went out and made some of the best moves at the deadline. They went and acquired Eddie Rosario from Minnesota and Adam Duvall from the Marlins, and they only gave up Pablo Sandoval and a couple of other guys like him that were kind of over the hill anyway.
Yeah, they really upgraded their roster. Really, I mean, you thought they would kind of be sellers at the trade deadline after the Acuna injury. Nope, they were buyers, and they were smart buyers too. They're always a very smart organization and very smart in buying some stuff as well.
They really did a good
Now,
job.
can they take it into the postseason? That's going to be the next question.
That's the real question, isn't it?
That's the real question. If they happen to do make it to the playoffs, is it going to happen for them?
Well,
Because they've had a history of bad luck.
That's been a 30-year problem, except for maybe 1 year.
It has been, yeah. It's been 25, 26 years, really, except for that 1 year in '95, really of misery.
Right, because I mean they've been good. They've won this division the majority of the times during that span, and yet they've only gotten one World Series and then only a couple more appearances in it to show for it.
Yeah, they really got it. They really got it marked down, and hopefully this could be the thing, but who knows?
Who knows is right. I mean, obviously, I think they're a good team and they're positioned well to make a move here going down the stretch. The Phillies are going to be good. The Mets, have the potential to bounce back. So I think, like you said, great 3-team race on its way.
Yes, great 3-team race, and we got to give credit too for your Cincinnati Reds right now. I mean, they're only 3.5 back of the wild card. They're only 8 back as well with the Central. So I mean, if there's a case where they get hot and then Milwaukee stumbles a little bit, we could be talking about the Cincinnati Reds in the playoffs as well. And yeah, same goes if the Padres kind of sink a little bit, and Cincinnati still kind of creeps up. We could be talking about the Cincinnati Reds in like either the wild card or or winning the Central as well. So I mean, it's really not over yet. I mean, we thought it was going to be probably Dodgers, Padres, Giants for the 2 wild cards, but that's not a given now anymore.
Definitely isn't, and don't count out the Cardinals. They're getting hot at the right time. They're getting healthy. I think they're going to still cause some problems for some people down the stretch. And they have a pretty soft road down the road. Or I guess they don't actually. Never mind. But they do end their season with a bunch of games against the Brewers, but they also have 7 of their last 10 games against the Cubs.
Yeah, and the Cubs really have been really kind of the disappointing team. I mean, it's funny. They kind of mentioned it at the Rockies broadcast last week that, really the Cubs were only I think 3 back, I think the middle of June. And it really, that's been a team that's really taken a nosedive. That's a team that's really, it's crazy. I mean, I think you could kind of pinpoint it too, because they got a no-hitter against the Dodgers, I think on Thursday night. They had a combined no-hit. They had a combined no-hitter against the Dodgers. And really, that's a team that really hasn't been the same since that no-hitter.
No, they really haven't. I mean, they've been awful since then. And then obviously they blew up the whole roster. And so I saw another contender for meme of the week when they showed a graphic of the Cubs starting lineup, and then the guy from Major League going, "Who the hell are all these guys?"
Yeah, there really was it. It was yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, especially when they came in. They came to Colorado last week, and yeah, I was just like, I don't know any like. Okay, I'm like I knew like David Bodie and I knew David Bodie and like Wilson Contreras. So I was just like, those are the only people I know. I'm like, I don't know any. I knew Jake Arrieta as well, but it's just like
But he just
I
got
agree. I was
released.
just like I didn't know any of these guys.
He just released Arrieta.
These
And if the name that you're pulling is David Bodie, it kind of shows where the franchise is at.
Yeah, it's really going to be. I think we're looking at probably a rebuilding time for the Cubs right now.
It's going to be a long one, that's for sure.
2016 was 5 years ago. People, I know it's crazy to think about it. It's just like, man, 2016 was 5 years ago.
And we Broncos fans know that all too well.
Yes, 2016 was 5 years ago. I know. We won't live it down.
Hey, it's okay. Great to see. Hey, the Broncos, I think, won Hall of Fame weekend. You got Peyton Manning going in. You got Steve Atwater long overdue to go in, and then John Lynch going in as well.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for really Broncos fans. Yeah, because three people kind of made it as well, and it was great to see that. It was great to see Peyton. It was great to see Steve Atwater finally get his just due and getting into the Hall of Fame as well. And then seeing John Lynch get it. Seeing two very hard hitting safeties that they probably wouldn't play in today's league, but they were great at the time, really.
They would be fined a lot in today's league, that's for sure.
They would definitely be fined a lot. I remember the game against the Colts in like 2004 when he knocked out Dallas Clark, like John Lynch knocking out Dallas Clark. I remember I was at that game, and it was always one of those ooh type of hits.
Right. And let's not forget Atwater with the hit on Okoye. He basically woke us all up from the Nigerian nightmare.
Yeah, that was it as well. He also made I think a very underrated hit he actually did make. He was it happened in Super Bowl 32. It was right before the fourth down play where we knocked down where the Broncos were going to win the Super Bowl. Like literally the play before, he knocks out a receiver, he knocks out himself, he knocks out a teammate, he knocked out three people with one hit. With that hit, I mean, really, he really like pushed it, really like digged his shoulder and helmet in, and he really the guy who got the brunt of it was his teammate as well. It was crazy. Like it's just like three people. He knocked out three people with that hit.
He is a one of a kind hitter, that's for sure. Him and Lynch are the two hardest hitters I've ever seen, and so to see him go into this Hall of Fame the same weekend is amazing.
It is a great thing, and it's one of these like testament of times where you just like you probably won't see that anymore. Yeah, or those guys, if you do see a hit like that, they're going to get ejected or they're going to get fined or flagged 15 yards. They didn't get flagged at all. He didn't get flagged at all for that hit.
Even if it was a clean hit, like if the contact is that bad, they flag someone right now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Based on the thought of it.
Based on the thought, yeah. It is just crazy to think about that. It's just like, oh my God, that would have been a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, absolutely. So that's great to see those guys go in. That was awesome to see. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into our fictional starting lineups here?
Nope. Let's do it. Let's do the fictional starting lineups.
All right, I got one more thing actually I just remembered before we get in. I've been doing a lot of I saw a lot of memes when I was in Vegas. And I saw a lot of great memes. So I want to talk about some memes.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
I just posted it to my Facebook. It's one that's about LeBron and Space Jam too. And it says, basically, the NBA is soft when LeBron needs a stunt double to play a basketball game against cartoon characters.
Why does LeBron need a stunt double?
I don't know.
He's LeBron James.
Stunt double for that movie.
That's like getting Jackie Chan a stunt double. Like, really?
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Like, why does LeBron need a stunt double?
I know. He already pretends like he flops on every play, so you might as well just take the hit or pretend like he's getting the hits in the movie too.
Oh my God, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Actually, I have to admit, I watched. So usually I watch a movie while I work out, and I watched the first like 10 minutes of Space Jam. It was on. So much better than the new
Oh,
Space Jam. Yeah,
absolutely, for sure.
yeah. I watched the first 10 minutes. I'm just like, this is so much better. This is so
Absolutely.
much better done. It's so much. It's a lot better.
And then two other sports memes that I wanted to bring up here, and they both relate into like my fall plan 2021 plans and COVID-19. The first one is a photo of Nancy Kerrigan standing there, and on Nancy Kerrigan it says my fall 2021 plans, and then it's Tanya Harding skating right by her, and it says Delta variant.
Oh man. No, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen.
I don't
I
either.
got some plans. I want to go to see some football games. I want to go see some hockey games. I want to go see some basketball games. Even though I'm not a big basketball fan, I still want to go see some sporting events, man.
I'm in the same
Please.
boat. I don't want to see it happen, but the memes were funny. And the other meme that I just saw it today. Um, it was the Panthers celebrating their NFC championship in 2016. Um, it was that one saying once again, my fall 2020 plans, and then the next photo over was him getting strip sacked by Von Miller, and it's saying Delta variant. So that was funny too.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah. Oh, that is definitely
So
funny.
I've been seeing a lot of good sports memes.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it's just great sports memes, and yeah, we're probably gonna see some more football memes as well with since NFL's right around the corner, and same with college football. It's gonna be a great time, man. Football's back, baby.
it sure is. Can't wait. Now let's talk about our worst player at each position in sports movies.
Yes, I kind of mentioned this to you yesterday. It kind of dawned on me. I was just like, really, everybody talks about like, oh, what is the best starting line for fictional sporting events? You know, who's the best? You know, you have Benny the Jet Rodriguez, really, and then maybe like Pedro Serrano or something like that, or yeah, so yeah, and you just Roy Hobbs as well. You know, you put him in Roy
Not
Hobbs
leave
in right
off,
field. But I want to do
let's
the
not leave off
opposite.
Dottie Henson. You can't forget about
Yeah,
Dottie.
Dottie Henson, a catcher. Yeah, you gotta have that. But it's just dawned on me. I'm like, really, nobody has done the flip side of it. What's the worst starting nine that you could put out there? So, and in honor of the Field of Dreams game, uh, really, I know most of the players are based on real life players, so there's going to be no, and it's just fictional people too. So it's just like in honor of Field of Dreams game. Let's have the worst starting nine. Who is the worst starting nine in the history of fictional baseball?
All right, I'm gonna let you get it started off then.
All right, I'm going to start with the outfield for me. For right field, I have Henry Rowengartner pre-injury. Okay, people forget like what a liability that guy was. I mean, really, he was a bench warmer. He stunk for that team. Everybody made fun of it. Nobody really liked him on the team. He really wasn't a team player. He wanted to play, and when he does play, really, he gets knocked in the wall and he can't find it, and he throws the ball out on the other park. Really, it's just he was a terrible player, man. He was a terrible player pre-injury.
I mean, he certainly was, but once again, I don't. I think the expectation for him was, we're starting in right field.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his expectation was kind of low. He was trying, but once again, he also. I mean, if we're talking pre-injury, I mean that's not true Rowan Gardner at his form, man. That's like
No, no, it's not
the
true.
whole Angels in the outfield lineup before the Angels show up. You can't have that.
I gotta have Henry Gargano. I mean, really. It's just really. Really. The guy, the coach started a guy with terrible, terrible allergies, and like an asthmatic allergy character at right field more than Henry Rowengartner. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he is good.
Yeah,
I'm saying that he might be slightly better than Tommy Timmons out in right field for the Sandlot, who I'm going to go with as my pick in right field.
Oh, you're gonna put
Obviously,
Tommy Timmons? Okay.
you see a lot of the players in the Sandlot being pretty good. you never really see any clips of Tommy doing anything good on the baseball diamond. And even the montage where they're all beating up that crappy team, or the team that they play in the movie, like Tommy's is kind of a check swing bunt, but the only play that everyone else is making solid contact, his is like a check swing bunt.
He probably has some speed, really. I mean, who knows? We don't really see a lot of Tommy Timmons, really. I mean, we probably see Timmy a lot more. And yeah, maybe they did do better. Yeah, when they play in like mini malls or something like that. Maybe that was just like for the best for them. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, but you have to admit too, he is the younger brother. They're not twins.
No.
As well. So maybe, these guys are in 5th, 6th grade. Maybe he's in 3rd grade. So I give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt with that.
Right, absolutely. He's like I said, he's a hard luck pick there, but he was the first one that came to mind when I was thinking fictional right fielders who don't.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. For me, for center field, okay, I'm kind of cheating a little bit on this. I know she was kind of a right fielder, but I really couldn't find anybody like center fieldish. So I decided to go center field, Evelyn Gardner. Okay, from a league of their own. Really, I mean, she's a terrible fielder. She can't find a cutoff man to save her soul. Really, I mean, twice she couldn't find the cutoff man, and one of them was an important game too that caused the run in to score as well. She cost them the game, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she definitely cost them the game.
And I don't, yeah, and really, she is like an emotional baggage too. You got to think about that too. She is like an emotional baggage as well, and just like she can't take getting yelled at, or else or else she's gonna cry.
That's true. And there's no crying in baseball. But,
There is no crying in baseball. Yeah.
but once again, you could argue, isn't Madonna the one in center field for?
Yes, Madonna is the one in center field, but she's actually good. She actually can make good catches. She catches with her hat.
Yeah. Although I read the trivia on that movie, and apparently Madonna was just awful to work with in that film.
Yes, I did hear about that. That is a little bit. Yeah, I did. That was a lot of the thing. It was either that or like, oh geez, yeah, like another person was supposed to play like Dottie Henson. Like that's all I heard. It's just like Madonna did not want to work.
No,
Madonna was basically hell on wheels in that game.
right.
During that filming.
She was really disappointed to be in Evansville, Indiana, which I mean, I've lived in Evansville, Indiana for a long time. I could say that there's some validity there, but once again, you don't need to be a jerk about it.
Yes, you don't need to be a prima donna.
I don't think she's necessarily my pick. I'm going to go with Mickey Hart from For Love of the Game. Yeah, he obviously had the Canseco catch that goes off of his head and ends up being a home run. And I think at the end of the day, regardless, that is the worst major league center fielder I can think of.
Yeah, the only person I could think of is Matthew McConaughey's character in Angels in the Outfield. That's a person I kind of thought of as well, but I decided to cheat a little bit because I wanted to just bash Evelyn Gardner. She was terrible. She was the wink link of that Rockford Peaches team.
100% agree. Plus, Matthew McConaughey's character does make like one of the most incredible catches in the history of baseball.
Yes, he does. I know he's floating in midair.
Although we never see him with the bat, so you could definitely make an argument for him.
Yeah, we don't see him with the bat. Same. We don't see a lot with Evelyn Gardner. Really, the one bat she has, she makes a sacrifice bunt. She makes an okay sacrifice bunt. I will give her that. But right. I don't think she was a decent hitter as well. She wasn't a decent hitter. She wasn't a decent fielder.
I mean, yeah. So I'll go Mickey Hart there, like I said. Even though he redeems himself later in the game to preserve the perfect game, he still definitely blows it so earlier on. And even though he does make the great catch, I mean, obviously it preserves the perfect game, but overall he's pretty weak.
He is pretty weak, yeah. Just because you make one great catch doesn't mean it really like nullifies, the ball. Basically, you pull a Canseco.
Right, absolutely.
And then so for left field, I have Scott Smalls. I know he got better as the movie progressed, but really Scotty Smalls, man. I mean, really he was a liability out at left field. I mean, seriously, there's a guy who didn't really know how to play baseball until probably 4 weeks ago. I know he got like potentially better, but he still was a liability, man.
I gotta agree with you 100% on this one. You're killing me, Smalls. Scotty Smalls has got to be probably the worst fictional left fielder in movies.
Who would you have? Would you have Scott Smalls or would you have Tommy?
Oh no, Scott Smalls is worse than Tommy, I think, because
Okay, yes.
obviously has been playing longer than Smalls has.
Yeah,
But
and
Tommy seems shorter, so I think he's got the smaller strike zone. It's going to make him tougher to strike out.
I agree. Yeah, it's just I think Scott Smalls, when he actually did hit the ball, he was like, "Holy crap! I actually hit the ball." I think both times it's just with the game that they had, and then when he actually hit the home run, they hit the Babe Ruth home run. Like it's just I don't understand where this power come from. Like really, I mean, I think he's either a strikeout guy or a he hits home runs. He's a home run or strikeout guy. He'd be actually perfect for this for this new generation of MLB, but.
Right, but I don't think he hits enough home runs. I mean, obviously, the
Yeah.
one we see he does hit, but once again, he brought a ball signed by Babe Ruth and actually played with it.
And actually played with it, yeah. And really, I mean, he didn't do anything as far as catching wise. He just literally sticked his glove out, and the ball hit, went into his glove. I mean, and the throw wasn't that. The throw was bad either. I mean, it still hit a hop too. To the shortstop, to Burcham.
He was serviceable.
Yeah, but serviceable gets you on this worst starting night.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
They did a lot to cover up the fact that he didn't do anything.
Yes, he didn't do anything at all. He was bad. All right, next. I'm going to go third base now, and I'm going to go Roger Dorn from Major League for my third baseman. Really in such a hot spot, and he doesn't like to get hit. I mean, I know he got progressively better, but really, I mean, he's a guy that really thinks of his future rather than the current game right now. He's probably thinking of his stocks options. He's thinking of golf. Really, I mean, and he really cared about himself not getting hurt and cared about more of his contract more than playing the game.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with that. I think he is like one of the worst defensive players we've seen in any of these sports movies. He's a huge defensive liability at third. Plus, it's obvious that he's kind of stopped caring. So because of that, I feel like because he stopped caring, he is pretty easy to single out as like the worst character. Because even the characters that aren't as good on this list, like Smalls, they at least still care.
Yeah, they still at least care. Same with Evelyn. I mean, it's just, yeah. She probably, hopefully, she cares about getting the cutoff man as well. And yeah, and really the only saving grace for Dorn, I mean, he was like I think they mentioned he was like 275 or 280 hitter, so he's actually an okay hitter as well. So maybe you put him on the top of the lineup, that type of thing as well. But he wasn't willing to, and really in Major League too, he wasn't. I mean, he did get hit, but he didn't want to come out of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you gotta say it for what it is, man. He is. Also, his personal life ends up becoming a distraction for the team. Like the stuff going on with his wife, his contract. You got to factor in the contract too, and realize he's making more than everyone else on that team combined.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of these people are like young kids and 40s ball players. Yeah, where they got paid. Probably nothing like they're getting paid today.
Right.
Or
exactly.
back when Dorn played too.
Right, but still, his contract is is obviously described as a problem on there. So I agree, he's got to be the worst.
Yes. What is for your third base?
Mine was Dorn too.
Okay. For shortstop, I have Tanner Boyle from the Bad News Bears. My first Bad News Bears guy. Really, he really what's bad about him is like he really has an anger problem. Really, I mean, it's just he's just really kind of he's a ticked off little kid. I mean, it's just like, and really he gets himself in his head a lot too, and you don't want that as a shortstop.
You really don't. He's really bad.
And we didn't really see him hit it at all, really. I mean, really, the only hitting you see is Engelberg or Kelly Leak or something like that as well. We don't really see any of the other, any of the Bad News Bears actually hit.
You really don't. I mean, this is kind of a tough category, but yeah, I agree. I think the Bad News Bears guy. I mean, I think when in doubt, go with them, and I think that's what I'm going to do here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just he gets a little bit better at shortstop, but really, I mean, he's a short kid. You don't want him at shortstop, really. Like
Well, I mean, I don't know where else you're going to put him.
Yeah, I don't know where else you're going to put him, but he's definitely a liability. Let's put it that way. And he really the only saving grace, he sticks up for his teammates as well.
He does.
Yeah,
he's a good teammate.
Yeah, he's a good teammate. Yeah, but really, I mean, really, he's a hothead. He's a hothead.
I mean, I feel like overall, though, shortstop is kind of the most glossed over position on these teams. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was that or like first base. Like I really didn't get I had to kind of fudge it a little bit with this as well. Like first base is really kind of glossed over. Like there's just like a first baseman. Like here is that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gotta. Yeah, I mean, once again, I think the Bad News Bears have a lot of candidates for this list, and I think this is one where we got to go with them.
Yeah, and same goes for second base for me. I have Jose Aguilar from the Bad News Bears as well. Yeah, he really was a bench warmer. He's kind of like Henry Rowengartner. He kind of was like a bench warmer as well. And really, I mean, it just doesn't really know the game as well. And yeah, they kind of put him in for like comedic purposes and stuff. And really, he kind of was a liability when they kind of played him.
I mean, he certainly is a liability. I mean, once again, I'm having a tough time racking my brain for someone better to put here. So, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. But I think I got to go with him too, because I mean, you can't go with anyone from the Sandlot. I think once again, a League of Their Own also had a stronger second.
Yeah, Marlo Hooch at second base.
Marlo Hooch is one of their best players.
Yeah. Actually, I will give Jose props. He did force a walk, man. Like he kind of ducked and kind of did the ducking thing to try to get a walk as well. So I mean, I think he has a good plate discipline. That's the only positive I can probably say.
Yeah, but like I said, I think second base isn't really that deep, so it's kind of tough to say where you can find a better example of a worse player at second base than
right.
Yeah.
And I got a doozy for a first baseman. Okay, so he's actually a utility infielder, so he can play really any position. And that's Danny Hammerly from Angels in the Outfield. I mean, really, he is and he's a liability on the plate. I mean, seriously, like really, it took an act of God for him to actually score a run. Really, that's really what it is. I mean, and his grounder too, like he's chopping it like an axe. Like, and he had to hit he has terrible plate discipline, and really the only time he can hit is if a ball is going probably 10 miles an hour, really, and it's looking right in his face too, and he has to have an act of God in order to score.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you could definitely make a case for him. I mean, he's once again, I feel like he's kind of a cop out. And if I was going to cop out and use him, I would have used him for our last category at second base, just because the odds of him playing first, like usually you're going to put a better bat like Mitchell at first.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I want my worst starting nine, and he's on it. I mean, he is definitely like a slam dunk person. Like it's just like he is so bad. Like,
right.
Like he takes a strike and it's like he misses a pitch really during his at bat. Like really, I mean, the ball was in his glove before he was swinging.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely struggles. I mean, like I said, he's not the best first base. I mean, I don't know that he even plays first base. So, like I said, I think it's kind of a cop out. Once again, I'm having a harder time thinking of the one here, but I would go with Leon Alexander from Little Big League. He's not even good enough to play first base on his own team, so he ends up DHing a lot because Luke Collins is the starting first baseman for this team. So Leon Alexander, we never really see him hit or do anything productive in the movie.
Yeah, he's like a big presence. You kind of want him like I guess kind of in a
So
big poppy type.
he
I
looks
do have
like
like
he's going to
maybe
do
another
something, but he
candidate for like
doesn't.
first baseman, and that's Pops Morgan from Major League back to the minors as well. I mean,
Right.
he's starting a new position and stuff, and really the first time he hit first base, he broke he really like he motionless. Really, I mean, it's
Right.
just he has no flexibility whatsoever. You kind of need at least a little bit of flexibility in order to play first base.
Right. And I mean, for him, like the issue that I have with him is that I didn't watch Major League back to the minors, nor really would I have.
It's not bad. I actually like it. I mean, it's not as good as the first two movies, but if you just see it as like a simple movie, it's actually good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you as well with Little Big League. I agree. Yeah, he's somebody who's
He's very
yeah
forgettable.
yeah he is a very forgettable player, and yeah, what is his thing other than kind of being like a team morale person? Really, I mean, he's kind of dancing in the dugout as well. When the team's going good and stuff. I mean, yeah, and he
Well, if
kind
you
of
ever
makes an
see it,
error
he's
too
got the
when
other one
Luke
of them played
Collins.
by a real baseball player.
I think he makes several errors too with when Luke Collins is at first base. Really, I mean, you're right. Yeah, he is the liability.
He does. I mean, like I said, I think he's a backup and a DH more often than not. So you got to remember that. But
Yeah, I don't think he's that good of a hitter either. So
right,
I think you kind of see it. He's maybe that guy you get at like the end of the career that he had good seasons with some other team, but he's not. You're not getting that with him.
no, definitely not. And you also got to maybe add on Helen Haley from League of Their Own, just because she can't really slide.
That is true. Yeah, she can't really
She's the
slide
one who
too.
ends
Yeah.
up with the raspberry.
Apparently that was a real injury too.
Oh,
Fun
I
fact
believe it.
about that. That was a real injury.
It sure was. Now let's talk about catcher.
Catcher, I have Rube Baker from the Major League Series. He did Major League Two, Major League back to the minors. He really was a liability. I mean, he couldn't. I mean, he couldn't throw. He couldn't throw back to the pitcher. I mean, come on, it's like a liability without him to distract himself with articles or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely a good pick there. Like I said, I didn't watch any of the Major League movies past the first one, so you gotta add that in. Um, so I can't really go with that person. So what I gotta go with is it was kind of a close battle for me for Gus Zinsky from for Love of the Game and Trisket Mesmer from Angels in the Outfield, and I ended up going with Trisket Mesmer. Obviously, he does have the one good home run, but he is really out of shape. He struggles running the bases, and from the looks of things, Gus Zinsky does a much better job of managing his staff. Obviously, really does a good job catching that perfect game. Not that Trisket Mesmer doesn't, but he needs Angels to help him catch a perfect game and run around the bases.
That is the perfect thing, yeah, with Mesmer. Yeah, because he's so fat too, and it's just like he has like two plates full of stuff after the game, and he complains about the food. I mean, really, I mean, it's just, and he's eating all the. I know, and it's just like I know, and it's just like he eats all the time. Like he's just like that. He's like that '90s fat guy that they wrote. It's just like, oh yeah, just pile on foods on top of foods on top of foods. Really, I mean, it's just. I agree with you. Yeah, he can't run the bases. You saw that. Like he's kind of huffing and puffing. Really, really, it's like watching really a fat guy run or something like that.
Right. Yeah, he's a real struggle.
He is an absolute real struggle. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, and he's just, how does he squat down all the time? Yeah, and really the only reason he could slide the way he slides is with the help of angels.
Right. Absolutely.
I know, and it's just like he didn't even know like how it happened, with the broken bat home run, really, where he
Yeah.
busts the guts out of a baseball. Like it's just like it felt something. I think it was those chili dogs and that third one tasted kind of funny. He had 3 chili dogs before a game. How do you come on?
Plus, you got to factor in the fact that he eats so much, he's going to drain your clubhouse budget.
He is, yeah. He's draining their clubhouse budget with that. Yeah, where he's just eating everything. And he's eating everybody out of the household, really. I mean, it's just what a time for 90s sports movies, really. When you put the
Yeah,
fattest guy, you put him at catcher. Really, you put the fat guy at catcher.
absolutely.
Oh, that was a great pick, man. I totally forgot about him. Oh, that was a great pick.
Thanks.
And then obviously for pitcher, I have Rudy Stein for the Bad News Bears. He is absolutely the worst pitcher of all time. No control whatsoever. He's just so bad. I don't know why they put him in a pitcher. And obviously Buttermaker didn't really care for him at pitcher because really he tried to get his daughter to join the team as well and really didn't try to tone and craft him. He knew he was a bad liability.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is definitely a bad one for sure. It's tough to argue against him. I'm going to throw out my other options. I think you are definitely right. He's the one guy you don't want out there. But you got to throw out the kid from Hardball too, because he can only pitch when he's got Big Papa going.
Oh, that is another good candidate. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he can't play unless Big Papa's playing. Yeah, that's it. That's his secret thing. Yeah, he can only pitch good if Big Papa's playing.
Right. So, like I said, I mean, he's a candidate, and I mean, once again, you also got to say that Whit Bass from Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, that is true. You could also look at Nuke LaLoosh too from Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Really, he has control problems. Really, I mean,
So does
he's trying
Wild
to.
Thing at the beginning of the movie, though.
Yeah, and you have Wild Thing too in the beginning of the movie. I mean, if I'm putting in Henry Rowengartner pre-injury, I'm definitely putting in. Yeah, I mean, several pitchers as well. Yeah, really. I mean, it's just a lot of bad pitchers you have back then.
Right.
Yeah, I think Whit Bass too. It's just like because of the motion, you know.
Whit Bass. That's
You know.
that's
Yeah, and it's just he has like the glove or something like that as well.
But I think when they first introduce him in the movie too, he's brought out with like a 2-14 record and an ERA in the 6, like an ERA over 5.
Yeah, and he's done to do like several other things as well. Like they talk about like his off the field antics rather than his on the field antics
Right.
as well. You know, so you can tell he's a bad pitcher if that happens.
Even when the Angels arrive, you don't really see them helping him win games.
No, nothing at all, really. Yeah, and you also speaking of Little Big League. I mean, you got to go with Mike McGreevy too. I mean, really, here's a guy kind of the Roger Dorn syndrome, but really all he cared about is himself. He didn't want to play for the kid. He didn't want to play for that. I mean, really, it really what took him to be a good pitcher was the kid insulting him.
Right, but I mean, he's not horrible. I don't think even when he's not pitching well, I don't think he's as bad of a pitcher as Whit Bass.
Yeah, Whit Bass for sure. Yeah, definitely a bad pitcher as well. Yeah, same with maybe with Little Big League back. If we're going like relief pitchers, maybe Blackout Mulligan or something like that. Like he has. Yeah, I don't think he's a good pitcher. Like really, we've seen like bad stuff with him all the time. He gave up the lead against the Mariners.
Right.
And it's just he is a hothead too. It is very bad. You have plenty of pitchers. Pitchers is a prime position for bad starting 9 people.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Rudy Stein is my pick.
Rudy Stein's a great pick. He's probably worse than even Whit Bass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would take Whit Bass over Rudy Stein any day of the week.
Right. I'll give you Rudy Stein.
All right. Thank you. Oh, geez. That was fun. I liked it, man. That was fun.
That was a good time. I enjoyed it. I love any time we work in these fictional sports movies into these shows. It's fantastic.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel like we need to do like a Little Big League review or something like that. I feel like it's one of those just underappreciated 90s baseball movies. I do too. I love that movie. Baseball movie. I think, it's not as good as like Sandlot, but I think it's right at that level with like Rookie of the Year.
I would put it ahead of Rookie of the Year. I'd put it like As far as the baseball that's actually played in that movie and everything that goes on, I love it.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of baseball in Rookie of the Year compared to Little Big League. Like Little Big League, there's actually a lot of baseball in there.
Right. There's a ton. Like it is a pure baseball movie.
It
Like
is.
and there's a little bit of drama with the kid ignoring his friends, but overall, it is about him trying to fix the ship and get this team good.
Yeah, and he kind of did. He kind of fixed the ship.
Right.
All right.
Awesome, man. Well, it was good chatting it up with you as
Good.
always. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you'll go back and watch all of our other episodes, and be sure to check us out on Twitter at SB Bushy.
All right. Thank you. Peace.